Hi everyone, today I'm just going to give you a quick video to show you how to find and use the standards packages on the Assessment Resource Centre website, which is through the Board of Studies. So I'm not going to go through everything that's in the standards packages because that would take way too long, but I'll show you how to get there and then what to look for once you are there. So the first thing that you need to do is type in ARC BOSTES. Okay, and the very first link that comes up is the one to click on. So you just click on that and it takes you to a site that looks like this. If you try and find this through the BOSTES website, it can be quite hard to find. So if you just type in ARC and BOSTES, it's the first thing that comes up. Now I want you to click on years 11 and 12, which is this little browny orange circle down here. There's a lot of options to choose from in this menu, but what I'm going to lead you towards today, you can have a look at these at another time to go through. They can be useful for a whole range of subjects. We're going to look at the standards materials. Okay, standards packages are put together by the Board of Studies and they're based on real answers from the HSC. Unfortunately, the Board of Studies stopped doing these in 2006. It's a bit of a funding issue, but the 2006 examples and work samples are still really useful in terms of looking at what students do and what sort of marks they get for their responses. So if we click on 2006, this takes you to the standards package for 2006. I think you do need to have a Flash player enabled on your computer to use this, but it's pretty easy to use and it shouldn't be too difficult to download that if you need it. So all of the stuff that you need is over here in this menu. The support material is basically introduction to tell you what it's all about. The exam paper that they're using, which is the 2006 exam paper, so you can see it's a Flash player that's embedded into the site, and you can have a look at the paper that way, or you can print off a copy. There's a little print button, but you can also print off this copy from the HSC exam section. Then there's the marking guidelines. These are the things that you would have gotten back from your trials, or will be getting back if you haven't got them yet. And this is what the markers in the HSC use to determine what mark you get for your answers. So it's very useful to have a good idea about what they look like and how they are used. The performance band descriptions are about what constitutes a particular band in each of the responses. So when we go through section 1, 2, 3 and 4, you'll see that there are answers for each band or kind of the cross band. So I'm not going to go through anything else. We'll start by looking at section 1. So this is the core. And the exam question, it shows you all of the questions that are worth particular marks. They don't go through, there's no standards package for multiple choice, and in fact in 2006 they didn't have any multiple choice. But what these do, it shows you the questions, and then what we can do is go and have a look at what looks like a band 5 or 6, and for each of these you can see as you click on them there are 3 samples of band 5, 6, band 4, 5, band 3, 4, band 2, 3, and not that I think anyone in my class will get a band 1, 2, but the band 1, 2 is there for you to look at as well. I always like to start at the top, and so you click on, you can look at each of the samples, and so basically these are actually scanned papers, so you can see the handwriting, and whenever we've looked at this in the past, people kind of like to guess whether it's a boy or a girl. I kind of think this one looks like female handwriting. But what you need to do, this is basically someone who's gotten an answer that's in that top band or the top 2 band descriptors. So a 5, 6 is a high band 5, or a middle average band 6. So and you can go through each of the samples and you can see what people have written, and as you go through each of the bands you'll start to see the length and the quality of the answers goes down, which is consistent with the marks that they would have received. Now we're lucky with the topics we're studying at the moment. For section 2 they actually chose Sparta, and one of the reasons that they do that is because Sparta is one of the more popular topics. So again, if you go to the band 5, 6 you'll see 3 samples, and then when you scroll down you'll see that someone's answer to all 4 questions. Is it 4 questions? 5 5 questions in this case. The recent format is 4 questions, but they can actually change it at any time to 5 questions, so it's good to be aware of that anyway. You might occasionally, and I think this is one of the ones that there's a typed response in one of these. If you ever see one that's typed, then that's usually someone who's had a reader-writer or they've had special provisions in their exam. So most of them are handwritten, but you do occasionally see the typed responses. So section 2 is the society section. Section 3, when we have a look at that one, is also, luckily, the personality that we study, which is Xerxes. So the format of the Xerxes question hasn't changed since 2006. It's still 2 questions. They do say in the HSC exam guidelines for ancient history that it can be 3 questions, but there hasn't been a 3-part question for the personality in a really long time. So pretty much everyone works on the assumption that it's going to be 2 questions, which is what you would have gotten in the trial. And again, go through all of these and you can see one of the good things I think to look at here is to have a look at what how much information someone who gets a band 5/6 writes. So you can see for that one they've written about 2 and a bit pages for question A. If you go down and have a look at a band 2/3, which for the 10-mark question, a band 2/3 is around about 3 or 4 out of 10. If you have a look at one of the samples for a band 2/3, then this person has written a page and a half. It's quite a bit more spaced out, but it's really looking about the quality of the information, not just the quantity. So a longer answer doesn't necessarily mean a better answer. So you'll have a look at these and look through them well. The other thing that you can do as well is use the tools at the top here. You can actually zoom in and out if you like. Lastly is the historical period, which again, lucky for us, is the one that we do, the Greek world 500 to 440. Now they've only got a sample answer for question A, and that's probably because this is the one that most students chose. Again, you can have a look through and see the sample responses, and do take the time to have a look at what the difference is between a band 5/6 and a band 4/5 and a band 3/4, and figure out about where you would sit in that area, because what it can do is, if you can see what's kind of similar to the way that you would respond, then you can go up to the next band. So say if you're sitting currently, your answer looks most like a band 3/4, then you can say, well, what does a band 4/5 look like? So what do I need to do to go up to that next marking criteria? And that can help you quite a lot when it comes to preparing for the exam. The last thing that they include in the standards packages are the exemplary examples. Now in this one, they actually do have samples for every single question in the paper, but you don't need to look at those. Like for example, I think Sparta is question 11. No, that's the Bronze Age in Minoan Crete. Maybe it's 12. Yes, 12. I was very close. So option I is Sparta, and it's still option I. So make sure that that's for Spartan Society, you're looking at option I. This one, an exemplary answer, is someone who got full marks. So as you can see, I mentioned that there's some typed responses. This one has been typed. And that means that someone in the exam has either had a reader-writer or they've had special provisions to type for some reason. So this person who wrote the answers to this question got 25 out of 25 marks for this particular section of the paper. And there are exemplary responses for section 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it doesn't matter what topic you do, you can look at the exemplary responses. And it can be difficult because you look at a band, what is not just a band 6, but it's a full mark response, and you can say, wow, that's way out of my reach. But it still can provide you with some good information as to what people who get top marks in exams are actually writing and how they're including and structuring their information and response. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Feel free to go back to the standards packages and have a look at the standards package for your other subjects that you're studying. There are standards packages for a range of other HSC topics, and spend a little bit of time generally looking around the Assessment Resource Centre, because there's other information in here. The online multiple choice can be a good way to revise. So hopefully you'll be able to apply some of this to your revision for the HSC, and let me know. I'll put a link in the comments to take you straight to the Assessment Resource Centre if you find the Googling bit a bit too hard. So good luck, and hopefully this has been a very useful video for you.